Alrighty guys, today I thought I would do a little tiny short update on the floor and the floor status. And a little bit of the wiring, pre-wiring that we're doing. Remember when I said in our first video that we do plan to take the van out before it's complete, right, to be able to continually use it. So one of the things I wanted to do was make sure that we had our lighting kind of squared away temporarily and everything else and the floor. So today I'll briefly discuss the floor, what we've done, and I'll show some links to the template. So first off, we put a mini cell floor, pre-cut, designed for the Ford Transit. Exactly fits, except for one little spot. Let me see if I can move the camera here. Down here, I had to do a little bit of trimming on this section right here, but very little. Otherwise, it came out ready to roll, or unroll, should I say. And it did fit in the down parts of the van floor. And then on top of that, we put XPS, 3M XPS foam board, which is an R5. This is 1 inch thick. And then on top of that, we have OSB, and this is industrial flooring, and with a tongue and groove. So down here, I did tongue and groove them to each other. And then we're going to put on top of the OSB some waterproofing seal. And now this, I can't put this on yet. I'm kind of delayed a little because the temperature here is 31 and we can't put that on unless it's 50 degrees. So there's a couple of solutions. One is I'm also working on the heater. Hopefully I'll have that, get that work done tomorrow so that I can do some video for it next week. A short one, again, not an install video, just kind of a discussion of the heater. And the reason we went with the foam board, the mini cell, and the wood, and then I'm going to put some vinyl tile that I have, and I'll show that when we get in the next video, and we show, and this floor should be mostly done. Because we are in the Pacific Northwest, and we imagine using our van quite a bit in the winter, and I wanted to get some decent insulation from the flooring. And based on the different materials, again, this being R5, the OSB 3/4 inch thick is about an R2, a little less than that, and the mini cell at 3/4 of an inch is about a 2. So we're pretty close to an R9 to 10 on the floor, which I'm pretty happy with. Let me show you what the side profile looks like here. So here's the mini cell, the foam board, and the 3/4 inch OSB. There's obviously always a lot of discussion about floor and what you should use. Some people want you to use birch plywood because the 7-layer, it's more sturdy, it's flatter. What I found was this was extremely flat, as opposed to plywood, which has a tendency to warp and move up and down. I didn't really feel like messing with that. Is this going to be the best solution? I don't know. Do I feel like it's going to be a good solution for us? I think it is. The mini cell made, since it was already pre-fit for the van, it made cutting the foam board and the plywood or the OSB on top really easy because it was a perfect template from the get-go. So I didn't have to worry about doing cardboard and all that other stuff. And the mini cell was, I think, about $300 or less. So I was really happy with that. The OSB was like $25 a sheet. I got 3 sheets. And the foam board was like $34 a sheet, and I got 3 sheets of that. I did put the contact spray 3M, the 300, no, the 90 between the mini cell and the van floor, and then the 3M PL300 between the foam board and the mini cell, and then I put a silicone glue adhesive between the plywood and the foam board. So the van is 13 feet long, so obviously 3 sheets of plywood or 3 sheets of 4x8 will not span that. So it's 13 feet long by about 6 feet wide, 6.5 feet wide, about on average. So it won't fit right. So I had to have smaller portions of one side. So on the front, and you'll see as I show in the back real quick, on the front, I have the small pieces of foam board that almost mimic the exact what I have on the back for the wood. And I put the whole pieces, for example, the whole piece of wood here to there, so it's continuous. There's no seams for the foam board that has seams. And you can see down here, there's the seam for the foam board. So on the back, it's the opposite. The foam board is one continuous piece, and the OSB is cut up. Let me show you the back. All right, so here in the back, you can see, again, these are the 2 smaller pieces, but they are tongue and grooved into the main board there. Now there's a few things I'm doing back here, like I said, regarding the electric. The lights, these lights came with the van. I'm pretty sure I ordered to put the full light system in. So they are all LED dimmable lights. Okay, so one of the first things I did with the lights was I disconnected them from the van battery, and I've run them back to a 12 volt hub or breaker box or fuse box, I'm sorry. So I brought them back to a 12 volt fuse box that's temporarily mounted, again, because we want to be able to take the van out and have lights. When the first time we took it out, when we shut the van, the lights were on the battery, the van battery and battery system. Of course, the lights turn off after a few seconds, so we'd be in the dark. Whether I get to use these lights in the future with our build is to be determined. They are fit to fit in with the sheet metal, so their flange is very narrow, their grip. And of course, we're probably going to use like 1/8 or 1/4 inch wood on the ceiling. So if it doesn't fit, either I'll try to see if I can make it fit, or we'll buy different lights. Regardless, temporarily they're going to work. And what I've done is I've also added them to a dimmer so that I can dim them. I have the very back 2, and I'll show you that in a second, on their own dimmer switch, and the front 4 on a different dimmer switch. And again, the purpose is so we can go out, have our lights inside the van while we're out camping before we're done. Right now I have it plugged into a little EcoBoost, a small EcoBoost with the 12 volt plug, cigarette lighter plug. But we do have an Anchor 2000, so it's got a 4800 or 2400 watts of power in it, and that's what we will take for our out camping trip, or we go out for the night or whatever the case is. I'll show you real quick the 12 volt plug. I also pre-ran some wire under the floor because I'm going to have the power, which I have at my camper right now, our 400 amp hour Anchor, 400 amp hour Renogy battery, our a DC to DC converter, and a 3000 watt inverter. I'm sorry, the DC to DC charger. So like I said, I ran wiring down across underneath the floor to the water side where we'll have the water pump and whatever is on that side. So let me show you real quick. So over here, you can see the, right here you can see my 12 volt fuse block. Right now I have the fan. Oh, that's the other thing. I pulled the fan, the Max Air fan, off of the van battery and pulled it onto this battery. Again, currently it's our little Anchor. Our EcoFlow. So the fan is down here on the 10 amp, and then I have, 10 amp, and I have both the rear light and the front light on 2 separate 5 amps. And right up here, you can see I've got the dimmer, so you can press and hold, and it'll dim. Let me get over there so you can see dim, off, on, and press and hold, and it'll brighten back up. And again, this is temporary, obviously, because we wanted to utilize the van. All right, so because of the floor is 1-inch foam board, 3/4 inch OSB, and maybe about 3/4 inch of the mini cell, and we'll have about, I think it's an 1/8 or maybe 1/4 inch for our vinyl tile. We are going to lose some, obviously, height in our van. However, again, the van is about 6.5 feet high. Jen and I are both 5.5 feet, 5'5". So we have plenty of room vertically, and the most important thing for us was to get a warmer floor. One last thing about the floor before I call this, again, it's a short video just to give a little update. We are making a little bit of progress. Around the edges, let me get the little video to show you. So around the edges, we will put some cracks and gaps to fill, and then we'll trim, and then we'll put the vinyl tile over top as much as we can. The other thing we liked about the OSB is it is graded for construction, so you can screw stuff in, nail in, and we'll probably supplement our 80/20 framing for our cabinets that are going to go down here to, supplement by holding on the floor, as well as obviously anchoring them in the van. So again, here's the front lights. I'll see if see them on the. Let me point this here. So right here is my dimmer for the front lights, and the turn off. You can see on and off, and then again the fan. And again, we have the ceiling fan on this 12-volt plug right now. Just as some other info real quick, the lights are very low voltage. With all 6 of them on full blast, they're only using about 18 watts full. And when I turn them all down to low, it's almost 1 or 2 watts for all the power for the lights. I might have overgraded the wiring a little bit, but I'd rather be a little over than under. So in case we need to have a heavier load on the end or something to that effect. So that's it, guys, today. We're just a real brief video update of our floor progress. Next week I'm hoping to have the heater in and the floor done, and that'll include some trim on the sides to cover the edges, and pretty much ready to start building some cabinets. So I'm going to try to get a couple little cabinets built with some 80/20 to get our stuff off the floor while we're temporarily using it, and then we'll start probably working on strapping or fairing strips or whatever they call it nowadays to start to encase the sides and the ceiling. All right, so until next time, we'll see you. Don't forget, if you have a question or comment, or you want to critique what we're doing, please feel free. Throw a comment down below, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one.